In today's video, I'm going to be talking about this, my very first table saw. What I like about it, what I don't like about it, and just some general thoughts on it. So this is a Titan table saw with the model number TB763TAS. And this is advertised as Screwfix's budget table saw. Perfect for the beginner, hobbyist, or just DIYer. So let's just start off with the things that I like about it. Let's look at some safety, and it's got a great guard here. I don't think I will ever want to make a cut or ever will make a cut without this blade guard, and it's nice thick plastic. It's a good few mil thick, which is looks great. And behind the blade we've got this riving knife here. Good quality metal there, and that is going to stop kickback occurring while the table saw is running. Another great thing about the blade guard is that we have this dust extraction hose that comes out of it. And another good thing about the saw is the dust extraction. I've been really pleased with the dust extraction on this saw. I think I could make it slightly better because I've just got an average household vacuum cleaner hooked up to it. So I think at some point I might look for something with a bit more suction power. But for now this is great. I've just made a cut on this saw and there's just a little bit of dust above there, but nothing really to be concerned about. Nevertheless, I always wear my dust mask when I'm operating the saw, and I also wear my safety goggles and my ear defenders. And I'll come on to how noisy the saw is in just a minute. Another great thing about this saw is this fence. Unfortunately, the fence doesn't quite extend to the back of the saw, which is a little bit annoying, but it's easy enough to live with. So the fence slides up and down nicely along these rails and locks into place with this handle there. If you attach the fence rails like the manual says, the fence rails will go to about there and then over there on the other side. But on the left side of the blade, you only have a maximum cutting capacity when using the fence of 40 centimeters, and on the right side of the blade, about 30 centimeters. So what I did was I moved over the fence rails so they are just completely on the left side, and this gives me a cutting capacity of over, almost 80 centimeters, which is really good. And will allow me to cut large sheets of plywood and MDF and stuff like that. The saw, you can easily do whatever you need to do with it from the front. So for example, I can lower and raise the blade using this nice wheel at the front that twists really nicely, like so. And also there's this lever here that I can twist, and I can change the blade angle from 0 all the way up to 45 degrees. Something else that I forgot to mention about the fence is just how rigid it seems. I know on some cheap table saws or just machines in general, the fence can't be very strong, but right at the front we have no noticeable movement at all. It's held in there rock solid, and towards the back there is just a tiny bit of play. But so far I've been able to make really straight cuts with this, absolutely no problem at all. Also, there's a little red line just there, and that will allow me to dial in the fence really accurately. Then obviously just lock it in place with the handle. So some things that I don't like so much about the saw. Well, the mitre gauge. It goes in the track fine, moves backwards and forwards absolutely fine, but quite commonly with these mitre gauges, there's quite a lot of side to side play in them. They can move around a lot, and just not really are going to be very accurate. So I did make a jig which will allow me to make more accurate cross cuts. This is a crosscut sled. It just fits in those slots there, and I can make good quality crosscuts. or cuts across the grain. In terms of other accessories that the saw came with, obviously it came with the mitre gauge and it came with this nice push stick, but I have made a few more push sticks such as that one, and I'm sure I made another push stick. Oh yeah, it's down here, and I made that push stick as well. I definitely don't have 3 hands, but in case someone else was in the workshop and they needed one, we've got one there. Other things the table saw came with, it came with a stand. As you can see, though, this is a homemade stand. The stand I did use for about 2 weeks after getting the saw, and it seemed very, very rigid and was just assembled using the bolts supplied with the saw. So things that aren't the best with the saw. Well, firstly, it's very loud. I will just turn it on for you after I've just put on my ear defenders. Okay, so I'm going to turn on the workshop vacuum first, and then I'll go and turn on the saw. I think you get the idea how noisy it is. It is insanely noisy, this saw, which isn't the best. The motor does seem pretty strong. It does take a while to cut through things such as thick plywood, but I haven't really had any problems with the power of the motor. There's something that I didn't quite like about the saw, but I did manage to adjust it. So if you're working here, the on-off button is down here, and then kind of there's that piece there, so you have to reach right round to get to the on-off switches, and the off switch is pretty small, so it was a little bit difficult to find. So I put a hinge in there, and the body of the saw is quite soft, so it was easy to drill into. Put this scrap in there, and it goes up and down like that on the hinge, and there's a little dowel in there, which if I press that, it will stop the saw. So I can easily touch it with my hand, or I can even go and touch it with my knee to turn off the saw. The saw I thought would be pretty light, but no, this thing is an absolute beast. It is very, very heavy, which is probably a good sign. Something that slightly confuses me with the saw is that I can't really categorise it. Most table saws are either a job site saw, a cabinet saw, a professional saw, or a contractor saw, and I really have no idea what this is. It's definitely not a cabinet saw, not a contractor saw, not a professional saw, but as I've just said, it's really heavy, and it didn't come with any wheels, so it definitely can't be a portable saw. So I don't think it's a big deal whatsoever. What I can label it as long as it cuts wood, that is fine by me. So would I buy this saw again? And would I buy any other Titan products? I think if I was going to buy a new table saw, I'd probably look for something that is of a little bit better quality. That isn't to suggest at all that this is a bad saw. This is a really good saw, and I forgot to mention straight out the box, the blade was completely square to the table. The fence was completely in line with the blade, but I think I probably just look for something a little bit more pricier, and something that had a little bit more power. But for me, just as a hobby woodworker, this is absolutely fine at the moment. And would I be wanting to buy any other Titan products? Yes, I think I probably would. They seem to be really good value for the money, and seem to be good quality tools. If you'd like to buy this saw, there will be a link down in the description, although I'm not entirely sure if you would be able to get this saw out of the UK. I'm not sure if anywhere else except Screwfix sells it. But anyway, I would definitely look for this saw if you are looking for a table saw. Okay, thanks so much for watching today's video. If you have liked the video, please feel free to like and subscribe. And I'll see you on my next video. Okay, thanks. Goodbye.